it and layer it and layer it. And then the reason we did not do this yet is because of the raccoon out here. First of all, there was a theft. I think you should deserve to hear the great wood chip caper.
So in order to create a biomass, you need to soak wood chips for about 2 weeks in water. So we had we came here 2 weeks ago with a 55-gallon, a blue plastic 55-gallon and we filled it up with wood chips and water. And we came back earlier this week and it was missing. And you know, you have to imagine they didn't dump the wood chips or water, which means that somebody carried about 400 pounds of wood chips in an open
top container.
Yeah.
It was a really desperate mycoremediator. That's all.
Yes. I thought, yeah, we have some competition, and I just want to say why we do the soaking. You know, I mean, Trad, if you want to explain it.
Well, you want it's nice to get the chips hydrated, all right, because that's what the mycelium needs to feed on to spread, and it's going to mine that water out of those larger chips, which is really good. So we do like to soak the chips first. There's also another good reason to use wet chips is when you're mixing spawn into this. If you use dry chips and you're mixing this in, it's like you ever mix a salad and you put all those goodies on top, and then where do they go? They go to the bottom. So if you wet this, the spawn will actually stick to the chips and stay up high longer, okay? And then it'll colonize. This is just the first layer down. So if we're going to finish this off, we would layer, put in some spawn, break it in a little bit, add another layer of spawn, mix it in.
What kind of spawn should we use?
This would be oyster spawn. All right, most of this down here would be oyster spawn. We thought about doing little bands like right up here of maybe reishi, because that has a real high tensile strength, okay? So that might be able to slow it down first. Have two little arms of reishi here, and then the bulk of this can be oyster mushrooms. Now, the raccoon went through a bunch of bags. That's actually clean compared to what happened yesterday. They completely tore open all the wood chip bags, and there's wood chips everywhere. It had no mycelium in it. So the fear was, if we do this right now, without protecting it, the chicken wire is not here, it'll be completely destroyed tonight. Because that is sweet smelling, it's different, it smells kind of fishy, and they will completely ruin this. So we're going to have to just use our imagination and pretend that we're going to layer this with different spawn, and then we're going to cover it with some chicken wire to keep those guys from digging through it as best we can. So it's chicken wire on top. Just the top there. You can do it, and you can do it like in the chicken coop that I designed. You can do that and on top. I would just try to keep them out completely, and we'll layer it out when you guys finish the project and we're gone. Put the chicken wire over, put some of those big rocks over and weigh it down. I don't know what a raccoon can bench press, but we'll find out real quick. All right. So now we can see where the water is actually coming through and under like we predicted. So we shot the transit all along here. We found the lowest spot. It's actually one of these, a big concrete block right here, which made a nice little bowl. So we shaped it to kind of bowl out. We put the plastic up and over that so it holds it. There's a little bit of holding time. As you can see, is that holding time? That's holding time. All right. There's another component we thought of last would be a little sampling spout. So what's going to happen last is this is going to go and get filled in, and a little area right here is going to have a PVC pipe with some holes in it, and it's just going to be an area to collect some of that water coming out. Follow? All right, so you can sample above and below the filter. You can put a little catch basin right there to catch the water before it goes in. There's no controls here. This is just an install because this has been proven before with Chloridus austratus and hydrocarbons. All right, that's a done deal. But if you're setting up an experiment and you want to test before and after, you test that and test here. Okay? So we will fill this up with wood chips to about here, all the way up to the top. It's going to lose about 80% of its biomass in the first year. 80% is going to shrink. All right? It's going to be a lot. One of the measurable ways of measuring hydrocarbon reduction in a lab is CO2 production. Okay? It takes as much as 80% of this biomass is going to turn into CO2. Yep.
Why the liner if the put is too groundwater?
So we can hold it, we can make a bowl, otherwise it's just going to run straight out.
And you can't test it?
It's impossible to control it. So this makes a nice contained bowl.
Part of the point of controlling it is part of the point of controlling it is to be able to sample it.
That's true. Yeah, and to keep it contained in channeling. And it has to go through the chips. You know, it's not going to go under it.
Right.
We want this thing to be a continuous mat. All right. So whenever y'all spread the spawn out through here, y'all can come back and check on it maybe once a week. All right. And then it should be fine. This wood chips will probably last through the fall and this winter, and then it will probably need to be replaced early spring.
So
It's not bad.
this kind of setup is purely to filter the water and not to remediate the soil on site.
Just the water, just to capture the water. Yeah. A little bit of holding time. Some of that stuff. Look at peek in those bins over there. Tell me what you see.
Yeah.
400 pounds of wood chips.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff coming out here. I mean, all these machines. I mean, they're not leak free.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have tubs and tubs of hydraulic fluid over there, and it's cheaper just to keep putting it in than to fix the leaks. Because I know a lot of people who run tractors like that, and they just have big tubs of it. So generally, we find out where they're parked, and right underneath it, it's just a big pile of hydraulic fluid. All right, those would be good to scoop up, put in a bucket. All right. What he said? Well, turkey tail, oyster mushrooms, the Phanericate, olivaceum. There's all kinds of wood. So that's what we chose for this site. So we're hoping that we come back and it really rains. You can actually watch the water flow on a heavy rain. So it's a very simple installation. We did it from 11 o'clock, and by 2 o'clock we were pretty much, this is what we got. And there was, what, 4 or 5 of us, right, yesterday. Imagine what we could do with a team like this somewhere. It'd go really, really fast. But you've got to have somebody in charge of engineering this and shooting transits. You don't want it to go up and down. You don't want pockets. You want a very steady rate of flow in. Okay?
And just for people who don't know what a transit is, you want to just describe
Oh, all right. So a transit is a line of sight measuring tool to measure elevations. Have you ever seen the guy out there with a little stick? Not the surveyors, but so we can calculate drop. It's a level line of sight, and you just come along and you can find exactly where it is. So we just came out here. We hit the stakes in. All those stakes are every 5 feet. There's 2 missing right here. We had to pull out, but we numbered them, and then we went along and got what the existing elevation, and then we just said we need to take plus 3 inches here, we need to add 2 inches here, we need to subtract 2 inches here. So we just kind of threw dirt back and forth until it was all lightly graded into the site.
You weren't.
No, we weren't doing that.
It was a rake and a shovel. Rake and a shovel.
We had a pickaxe, but they didn't use it.
We were in low tech, no tech yesterday. You know, again, this is just a demonstration.
So once the fungi has started to propagate, how do you know when is a good time to sample the water?
When it's fully colonized, it's okay to dig in this and look. So it's, you know, remember it'll weld itself back together. Don't go in there and just dig the whole thing up, but you can just come in and, you know, scratch around a little bit, make a few little squirrel holes in there, look around and see. If you need to add a little bit more spawn, go ahead and do it.
Should we add some spawn today? Should we do it as
I'm worried the raccoon might just
even a little?
tear it up. You want it?
Where that came from?
Look at you guys.
Just maybe we
All
can
right, all
price
right.
it. Yeah. So what do you want? You want 2 reishi, 4 reishi, and a lot of oysters?
But I think this is how we test the raccoon problem.
Yeah.
Okay,
By
all
putting a little
right.
bit.
Let's grab 4 rishis and maybe Six warm blue.
Okay.
4 Rishi, 6 warm blue.
This area then.
So a couple people can bring those.
Yeah.